This is a world inside the human body, where 32 trillion different types of cells live and work together. Red blood cells carry oxygen. White blood cells kill germs and viruses. Some cute baby-looking cells heal the body. Some control the brain, and some are responsible for reproduction. It begins with a red blood cell carrying oxygen to other cells, when suddenly the skin breaks and a deadly virus enters the body. It says, "This body is amazing, there's lots of food here," and attacks the red blood cell. That's when a white blood cell grabs the virus and chops it into pieces. After eliminating them, leader of white blood cells Blanca informs the center. While Rena is amazed by their skills, Blanca asks, "Why were you staring?" She says nothing. "I just want to thank you for saving us." He says that's our job. However, the bacteria won't give up easily. He promised to return soon. Next day, Rena's finding a way to lungs to deliver some CO2, but ends up in a wrong door, so informant tells her, right direction. Still she reaches to wrong entrance, and now she keeps running cluelessly to find right way. She opens one door and a woman says this is a spleen. Lady Rena says sorry, I lost my way. Next she reaches to lymphatic entrance and gets scolded for that. She apologizes and runs from there. After that she asks way to lungs from other red cells, and then with the help of map she reaches near a door, but nobody is around. She goes to knock the door, and just when she opens it, she's freezed to see the lung bacteria there. She closes it silently, but bacteria break out through the wall saying, "I'll kill you." She runs to save her life while he chases her. She stumbles on the way and bacteria starts to attack her, but Blanca appears on time. "You filthy germ, don't touch her." Bacteria says, "Catch me if you can," throwing his net towards him. Both are stuck inside the net while bacteria escape from there. Blanca tells her we need to catch him. "Let's go," and runs to catch him, taking Rena along with him. Blanca tells her, "He's a lung bacteria. He will divide and spread in lungs, causing infection called pneumonia." Rena says, "So he's pneumococcus." He says, "Yeah, we need to stop him." She says, "By the way, I was heading to the lungs." He says, "But this is kidney." But then he runs saying we don't have much time. It's not just the lungs that are at risk. The bacteria can also escape to the blood vessels and travel to attack each organ and then finally attack the brain. It divide fast and can destroy the whole body in just 24 hours. He calls for help, but they say we don't have much white cells. Handle it yourself. Just then, Blanca's receptors detects bacteria's presence and he says good news, bacteria is nearby. He asks Rena, "Did you hear bacteria that time where he's heading to?" She says, "I remember him looking at map for the way towards lungs." Blanca says, "Okay then, let's go to lungs." But Rena again takes a wrong way and on realizing, feels embarrassed. On reaching closer to lungs, Rena says this is so cool. Blanca says we gotta go, and they continue walking. On the way they meet and greet platelets. One of the platelets stops them. "We are doing some construction. The way is closed." They see platelets around a pile of Ca2 boxes, trying to reach there. They both think platelets are so cute and then says we can help you. They open the boxes for them. After finishing, they move in direction of lungs. Blanca says its strange receptor is still showing the presence of bacteria. It never acted this way. We cannot see any bacteria nearby. Just then, Commander T-cell flashes on big screen alerting everyone about the bacteria and that killer T-cells are on the way to deal with it. After a moment they see an army of T-cell marches there. Their leader commands them to kill the bacteria on sight. While Blanca tells Rena let's get going, but T-cell commander calls her saying, "Aren't you scared? You are favorite food of pneumococcus bacteria since they crave nutrients and red blood cell carries them. So you might be its target." Blanca says they're just trying to scare you. Next they reach to the lungs. Blanca says nothing seems suspicious here. Bacteria hasn't invaded yet. Nima says alright, I'll go and deliver CO2. Blanca says, "Be careful." He then look at his receptor which has stopped giving signal and he starts thinking, why? While T-cells are still in search of bacteria, Blanca talks with his boss about it. His white cell army also arrives. Meanwhile, Rena is looking for capillaries and lungs to deliver, but she gets confused seeing so many room number and don't know where to enter. There are so many capillaries. Just then her sensei appears and she cries for help. She explains that you just have to match the numbers to whichever door you need. She then leaves saying good luck and Nima says see you soon. Next she finds the room number and enters in. It's too quiet there. Just then she sees the box is getting torn and pneumococcus arises from there. She cries in shock and tries to run but gets stopped. He says, seriously, how stupid can you possibly be? You didn't even look inside the package you were delivering. She opens the door but sees other red blood cells coming there. She shuts door saying, this room is occupied. Bacteria says, you think you saved your friends. I will kill them after killing you. Just then, Blanca appears and says, I can transmigrate to anywhere to reach our enemies. The instant Rena walked away, my receptor stopped going crazy, and that's how I figured out you were in that box this whole time. Bacteria says, I'll not get killed after I've made so far, and runs away. Blanca follows him. Bacteria runs to kill a red blood cell carrying so much nutrients, but Blanca attacks him from behind. He goes to attack him closely, but Pneumococcus shields himself with powerful net. Rena also appears calling Blanca, but he tells her to stay back. This net is not like earlier one he used to escape, but this is more powerful to shield himself. Bacteria says, before I begin my all-out invasion, I want to torture you pathetic cells, and attacks. Blanca dodges all of them. Rena starts crying. This is our end. Blanca says, I got an idea. Head down that way. They enter inside a door and Bacteria follows them. White blood cell says, hey red blood cell, step further back. Bacteria walks toward them saying, you gonna surrender now? I'm gonna tear you. He jumps to attack and land on red line. An alarm starts buzzing. Blanca pushes a red button and a process starts. He's captured inside a capsule. He hears a voice. Bacteria is captured. Bacterium disposal will now commence. Blanca takes out some tea from machine and says, you cannot break that capsule. Bacteria says, you use cheat tactics to capture me. Blanca asks Rena, are you fine? She says, yeah, and he hands over her some tea, while Bacteria is taken away for disposal. Sitting there, they watch him being thrown towards bronchial tubes. They then dispose him inside a rocket. He cries, let me out. In next moment, calm down begins, and then he is taken out with high speed. Everyone watches it. Blanca says, bye-bye Bacterium, and then he gets destroyed. Next day, Rena is about to deliver nutrients to a cell, but she misses her way again. She sees the senior red cell and walks close to her. She knows she lost her way again, so she checks her map and says, I'm going the same way. Just then, they hear a whistle sound and decide to check. It's the platelet at work. They admire them. Platelets are tiny cells in blood that stick together when blood vessels are damaged to cover the wound. They are about to climb a stairway and their leader asks them to be careful. She gently climbs it while the rest follows and they keep moving. When they made it down together, they cheer up after. They play with red blood cells, giving a peaceful environment. The clotting material drops from what their leader carries, and Rena picks it up for her. When she gives it to her, she happily says thank you. Then, she tells her team, let's wash our net here, and they did. Senior red cell tells Rena, let's head off to work, and she follows her in the skin. They see other red blood cells carrying oxygen. Rena says this place is so peaceful. Senior replies, yes, but be careful still. Rena asks why. She replies, this vessel can get damaged easily. Suddenly, it shakes and they fall. Rena asks, what's wrong? She says, skin is reacting to something external, but not too bad this time. Just then they see fire burning. Rena gets scared. The fire created a big wound in the body. Breeze blows, Rena and others falling into the hole, but Blanca grabs Rena from landing in the wound. She asks what's going on. Blanca says, the skin is wounded, so the blood vessel's wall broke, and now blood cells are being washed away. If we fall through this wound, we're finished. Afraid, Rena says. Then we have to do something fast. He says, be quiet. The wound will be taken care of. Suddenly, a germ appears. Blanca, expecting this, but there are many more coming. These germs live on the skin and in pores. If it gets in through a wound, they can cause skin infections or food poisoning. Blanca and others panic as the germs charge at them. Blanca asks them to run while he fights them all alone. While running, Rena tells him to move over there to fight. He replies, will you just leave already? Rena is worried he might get hurt, but she has to leave. Other cells see that the blood vessels are constricting, so they are confused about what happened. Rena and others rush out and inform them that there are germs around, and everyone starts to run. Rena falls, but another cell helps her up. Again, some germs show up, claiming they'll hijack the body. They also plan to attack the red cells. As they try to escape through the venous valve, it refuses to open because it does not allow blood to flow backward. Rena struggles in between them and the germ stretches his hook to pick one of them. It was about to kill her when the white cells join the scene and slay it. Blood gushes out, and the white cells are all soaked in blood as they ask for the wounded area. The red cell tell them, and they leave immediately. Rena thinks they should be safe. Now while Blanca alone fights some germs as he slays one of them, his knife falls. One germ pins him to the wall with his hook, thinking Blanca can't move again. However, he breaks one of his hook and stab him with it. He wonders why they attack him there instead of going deeper into the body. he receives a call to help one white cell in dangerous situation. Blanca rushes over there at the wounded area in the skin. White cells fight to protect two red cells. Later he asks them to run. When they think it's over, one germ says don't relax yet. More of us are coming. Then, they appear. At the same time, more white cells arrive, while some slip into the wound. Blanca asks them to use their protein to stick to blood vessel walls and he fights with the germs. The germ leader mocks them, saying they fight to protect other cells, but no one ever comes to help them. She claims she's done a lot of research and knows so much about the body defense system, and that the white cells are the first to receive signal if bacteria enters the body through a wound, as other defense cells don't arrive until later. So if she's able to take out the cells there, she will have the upper hand. The fight begins and Blanca almost falls into the wound thinking he's run out of energy. She tries to stab him with her hook but he blocks her. She's surprised where he's got the energy from again. Blanca tells her not to look down on the body defense cell as they happen to be powerful helpers to white blood cells. The platelets appear and salute white cells for their hard work and begin working to stop the wound from bleeding. While they stick together, white cells get rid of the germs on their way, and they made their way to the wound. With their blood clotting materials ready, they close up the wound with the blood net, successfully clotting the wound. This will stop germs from multiplying and make it easy for white blood cells to get rid of the germs. Germ leader is shocked to see this. The white blood cells begin attacking them. Seeing it's only their leader left, he flies to where she is and slays her in no time. He falls back to the blood net and the platelets praise him for his hard work. Meanwhile, Rena has been looking for Blanca. When she sees him, she's happy he made it alive. He asks about other red cells and she says they are coming later. I just want to see you first. Blanca wonders why she has to then. She says, thank you seriously. He replies, no need to thank me. We are just doing our jobs. She disagrees, saying, I actually come to thank you for fighting so hard to protect other cells and the blood vessel while all red cells do is to run away. He replies, that's not true. You guys have also been very helpful today. Relieved, she asks, why haven't you moved since I came? Then she realizes she's stuck too. Other red cells are also glued together and get trapped in the blood net. This is to make the clot stronger and thicker, fully sealing the wound. Blanca says they'll have to stay like that for about 3 days until the clot dries. Then we see a naive T cell is on petrol checking inside the body, though he's not sure what the body part is because he sees no cell there. As he moves scarily, especially when he hears a sound out of fear, he accidentally hits a container making a sound that attracts a zombie cell. And before he knows, more appears, and he almost goes crazy. He tries to escape, but they are faster than he can imagine. Fortunately, Blanca shows up and gets rid of them with his defense ability. The naive T cell, crying after Blanca, asks what he's doing there. He says, my name is Naive T cell, a low-rank T cell that fights germs. He asks Blanca how he came through the wall. He says just by moving. Then he mentions that the zombie cells were once normal, but got infected by a virus called the influenza virus, which causes headaches, joint pain, high fever and muscle cramping. They bind to the cell bodies and then multiply, so we have to kill them before they increase. But there is no response. Afraid, he replies, I can't kill a virus. The zombie cells start to attack Blanca. Just then, another cell appears, a macrophage that also kills germs. She comes with a hatchet, which she uses to attack the zombie, showing her strong killer ability and still remain calm. She grabs the virus and says it's a type B virus. She reports to dendritic cell, who also reports to T cell commander. The brain cells are also notified by the T cell commander, who says the T cells will be called in to help. Macrophage tells Blanca the T cells are coming soon. Hearing that, naive T cell begs her to tell them he killed one of the zombie because he might be punished by senior T cells. Killer T cells arrive and salute the macrophage for her hard work. Naive T cell tries to hide, but senior T cell catches him, and they yell at him for not doing his job right. Other white cells also join them. The zombie cells keep coming, and they drag naive T cell to kill at least one of them. The defense cells charge at them. Then the memory T cell, which appears when an old enemy returns, shows up and reminds them what happened last time with the virus. The defense cells have the upper hand, except naive T cell, who still panics and struggles with one. He tries to gather courage, but a zombie appears. His senior saves him. When they scold him, he starts to cry, and then run away. Elsewhere in the body, cells scatter and run around. Rena asks what's happening, and a cell tells her there's a virus infection. Naive T cell keeps running but then falls. He lies there crying. A dendritic cell sees him and asks what's wrong. The dendritic cell's job is to alert defense cells about bacteria and viruses. He says, "Don't worry, I'll call your commander for help." But just as he's about to call, naive T-cell cries out, "I ran away from the fight, because those enemies are so terrifying, and I'm not as powerful as other defense cells." The dendritic cell feels sorry for him, bends down, and says, "Nobody starts strong." He's surprised. Then the dendritic cell gives him a T-cell memory book with pictures of senior T-cells from the past, who were just exactly like him, struggling to fit in. He says, "They're crying, just like me," then brings out more books. Meanwhile, the senior T-cells sense that their past has been revealed. The dendritic cell tells him his seniors scold him because they see their old selves in him. He remembers their words and thinks it's true. Dendritic cell assures him they are there for him, from white blood cells to macrophages, T-cell commander and T-cells all working together as friends as he encourages him to be bold. Naive cell feels alive and his ability as T-cell is activated. This is another role of the dendritic cell, activating naive T-cells. Zombie cells lie dead in their own blood, while white blood cells keep cutting them down. Unfortunately, one of them infected other healthy cells with the virus, and they become zombies too. Now they have more to fight. The influenza virus can increase rapidly in a short time. As Rena and her senior try to escape, the cell zombies appear in front of them, and they run back. Meanwhile, the defense body cells never stop fighting, but they are just too many. Just then, a cell punches one of the zombies and sends it flying. They all watch in surprise, seeing the former naive cell has turned into a giant after his ability was activated. Surprisingly, he multiplies too. His seniors are happy, feeling like heroes. B cell joins them, bringing antibodies. He's also a defense cell that makes special proteins to fight germs. They all come together to fight the virus. Naive T cell fights them with his new T cell power. The body's temperature rises to help suppress the virus. The host feels chills, then sneezes and coughs to push the viruses out of his body. His appetite decreases as the defense cells use up digestive energy. The sweat cells stay active and hydrated, and he sweats to expel the harmful substances and adjust his body temperature. With the cell's teamwork and hard work, after a week, the influenza virus vanishes from his body, and the body cells cheer up for their victory. One senior T cell also praises the naive T cell for his hard work, and B cell becomes jealous. The T cells cheer, saying, "We did it." Naive T cell shakes hands with Blanca, thanking him. But then a zombie cell appears again. Naive T cell makes a fist for one last punch, then charges at him aggressively. Surprisingly, the zombie cell punches him and sends him flying. He lands on the ground, crying. B cell attacks with antibodies, but the zombie still stands strong. Blanca can't believe his eyes, then realizes it's a type of virus. It changes a lot inside and can cause big flu outbreaks. He spreads by infecting other cells. Naive T cell changes back to his old form, while B cell says, "Let T cells fix this. While I go make new antibodies." Infected cells attack them, causing a lot of commotion. The platelets clean up as the dendritic cell calls in stronger cells for help. Now we see body producing gastric juice, and Blanca tells Rena that it dissolves a lot of nutrients. The stomach stores swallowed food and sterilizes it with gastric juice, while an enzyme called pepsin breaks down the food as the first step in digestion. Rena tells Blanca she's used all her energy learning the right path and loves watching food digest. Blanca's sensor detects bacteria, and he leaves at once. Blanca runs to where the bacteria is, and she is attacking a type of white cell called eosinophil. Eosinophil feels sad while the bacteria insist the red cells hand over their nutrients. Eosinophil attacks again, but he pushes him over. She falls to the ground, frustrated, and the bacteria use her superpower to roll fast. Blanca rushes towards her, slays her, and she dies. A red cell asks if Eosinophil is okay. She sadly says, "I'm fine," and stands up thanking Blanca for saving her. Eosinophil is a white blood cell that fights parasites and controls allergies. Then, Blanca greets her, saying it's been a long time. The two grew up inside the same bone marrow. She greets Rena, who replies, "Nice to meet you." Some cells wonder why Eosinophil can't kill germs if she's white blood cell. Eosinophil feels bad hearing that. Blanca tries to comfort her, saying her job isn't just to kill germs. She says, "Don't worry, I'm not bothered by what they say." Suddenly, food nutrients start falling out, and they rush to the stomach. Blanca bumps into something, the mast cell, which triggers allergies and helps fight germs by releasing chemicals like histamine is seen. Histamine is a chemical produced by mast cells when the cell is injured. Another strange cell appears as Blanca and Eosinophil approach. They call him basophil, a white blood cell that starts inflammation and releases histamine. In the histamine is a substance that attracts white cells and eosinophil. when Basophil says he's come to ask Blanca for help. Eosinophil says this means the body has been invaded with so much bacteria. Blanca says, "Okay, let's go," and they run. Other cells also start running when they hear bacteria have invaded the body. Suddenly, some bacteria show up as a result of food poisoning. It's a sea bacteria that enters the body through seafood. This is reported to Killer T-Cell Commander. Immediately, he announces to all cells to leave the area where the bacteria are invading. Another cell says it has damaged the stomach wall. Soon, Blanca and Eosinophil arrive there. He says, "We'll fight until more defense cells arrive." Blanca starts slaying them, while Eosinophil struggles with one. A red cell is captured by the bacteria, and she rushes to rescue her. The bacteria throws the red cell at her, and her weapon falls off. The bacteria is about to strike her, but Blanca jumps in to save her. She rushes at it with her weapon, but Blanca tells her to stop. The bacteria opens her mouth, and Blanca allows her swallow him up. Basophil appears and says Blanca just sacrificed himself. For the peace of this body, let's keep fighting. Suddenly, the bacteria spits out blood as he slays her from inside and comes out. Everyone is shocked that Blanca kills the bacteria, and he is soaked in blood, breathing heavily. Other white cells arrive to fight the bacteria. Rena joins the scene and she's surprised to see that Blanca turns red like her, but a white cell comes and washes him up. Eosinophil then kneels to apologize, saying it's her fault. Blanca says no, but other cells are already backbiting that she's a useless cell. Blanca says, "I'm sorry that I was harsh on you because of the emergency." Eosinophil says it's fine. "I know I'm a weakling." Fortunately, it is announced that the bacteria have been successfully devoured, and everyone gets back to work. Blanca and Rena watch Eosinophil as she cleans her weapon. Again, a cell detects that something is wrong in the body. Just then, everywhere is shaken, and they run towards the scene. They detect that the bacteria have damaged the stomach wall and gastric acid leaks. When they get there, other cells are trying to escape. The stomach wall broken, to which they are surprised, and something appears, roaring like a lion. It's a parasite called Anisakis, a tiny worm found in undercooked fish and seafood. When consumes the seafood causes stomach pain. Basophil watches as the gastric acid begins to rise, and also other cells. Emesis is discovered to have reached the maximum. Emesis happens when your stomach forces its contents back up through your mouth and then you vomit. The parasite is tearing the stomach wall, and Blanca says they must stop it. No matter what, but his presence is so powerful that all cells there are terrified. One white cell says we can't fight this. Every cell there runs to escape while Blanca tries to move. Eosinophil says I will go fight him, which shocks everyone. One cell says how can you, when you can't beat ordinary germ. Despite that, she keeps moving and says it's my job. Meanwhile, Blanca says nothing to stop her. Rena tells him to stop her. She keeps moving, about to attack. Rena screams her name and wants to go help her, but Blanca holds her back. Eosinophil with her weapon moves closer and Blanca says she's the only one who can kill the parasite. She flies up using her super ability and charges at the parasite, knowing that her real job is getting rid of parasite and not just bacteria. She stabs the parasite's head and blood gushes out and she cries out in pain. It falls into the gastric acid in the stomach. Basophil feels they successfully defeated the parasite. Eosinophil feels relieved. As she turns back, everyone cheers up, saying sorry, we have the wrong idea of you before. They celebrate her like a heroine, and she thanks them. Then, again, they clap for her, and she blushes. Rena also claps. White cells try to fix the damage. Eosinophil is thrown up, and she feels happy. Basophil speaks in riddles to show his secret job in the immune system. Blanca knows he's saying their mission has been accomplished. The cells continue their work to improve the health of their host. An external enemy is about to attack the human body. As it moves closer, T-Cell Commander is notified, and he thinks of the right attack strategies to deal with this enemy. The enemy is dust from cedar trees carried by wind, especially in spring. It lands in the nasal mucous membrane, causing a reaction in the body. Cedar pollen causes allergies, which occur when the defense cells overreacts to a certain substance. The macrophages near the eyeball membrane report this to the T-Cell Commander and others. In the body system, the body cells are also notified about this. Rena decides to finish up her delivery fast. Unknown to her, one of the cedar germs is behind her. She turns back, and it expands. When she sees him, she screams, calling for help as he moves closer. Luckily, Blanca comes to her rescue, slaying the cedar. After Cedar dies, he asks if Rena is okay, and she answers yes. Rena asks him what the germ is. He begins to eat it to break it down and find out. Then he says it tastes like an allergen released by cedar pollen, though they don't cause illness like bacteria and viruses, but we still need to eliminate them. Another cell shows up, panicking that the cedar allergen got in through an opening. Blanca asks, "Who are you?" He says, "I'm a memory cell, a special immune cell that remembers germs or allergens the body has fought before." Blanca asks, why panic when allergens are harmless? He runs into a room and brings out a legend notes passed down to memory cells for generations. That says when the big danger comes from outside the body, everything inside will be thrown into chaos, meaning more cedar are coming. Just then another one appears, and they are also alerted that a large number of them have invaded the body. When Blanca arrives, he's shocked to see so many of them already destroying the body's wall. Memory Cell says this is the end for this body. The emergency response cells report the situation to T-Cell Commander, but he looks calm, saying it's fine since we've got a secret weapon, which is B-Cell. He orders to send him to the front line. Blanca confronts the Cedars, thinking if this will really be the end. Just then, B-Cell appears with his antibodies to fight the germs. The cells feel relieved to see him. B-Cell activates his weapon, releasing the antibody that fights allergens. Fortunately, he eliminates them all in no time. He smiles as the other cells cheer for him. Blanca asks the memory cell if the disaster is over. He says for now, but something worse is coming, and it's going to be scary. The cells keep praising B-Cell for his hard work. The antibody usage rises, and it surprises Mast Cell. She grabs a manual to find out why there's a sudden increase in order to know what to do next. She becomes confused, not knowing exactly how to handle the situation. She calms herself, decides to follow the manual, and releases a chemical to control the extra antibody use. Blanca and Memory Cell see this and try to stop B-Cell from using more antibodies. He says, "Don't worry, it's under control now." He points out where the chemical is coming from, and they look up expecting it to rain down. Suddenly, the chemical flooded the whole place and carries the cells away, including Blanca and Memory Cell. After it dries up, the Cedars reappear, then the Mast Cell realizes the antibodies were overused. She releases more chemicals and the area becomes flooded again. Blanca and Memory Cell hold onto a pole to stay alive. Meanwhile, this chemical is called histamine, which widens vessels to help white blood cells reach threats faster. They decide to contact Mast Cell to stop, but she won't. Now too much histamine makes the body systems go out of control, and the secretion center is damaged. They discovered that the body system is reacting to this damage. The white cells fight the Cedars and kill him. However, histamine tickles the nose nerves and makes the host sneeze again and again, also causing the nose to swell and block that one can't breathe well through it. Afterwards, tears start to overflow as histamines trigger the eye nerves, causing redness, itchiness, and lots of tears. Next, there are cedar pollen allergies. Memory Cell says this is what the legend described in the manual as the terrible disaster. The cells wonder why this is happening, and they blame B-Cell for causing this by spreading antibodies. He says blame the histamines instead, so they barge into Mast Cell room and drag her out. She also says blame the antibodies. Not me. They argue and she says, I only follow the manual instructions. He calls her Fat Cell. She gets angry and calls him B for Bonehead too. The argument becomes serious. Then, Blanca says, everyone does their jobs, not knowing things would turn out like that, and even if we know, we will still do our job, and that is the fate of every cell. Rena approaches from afar, pushing in a big cell that kicks Blanca and Memory Cell away. Blanca asks what it is, and she says I don't know too, but I'm supposed to deliver it here. The cell is a medicine. Rena asks Memory Cell if he has seen it before. He says no. Then the cell says I arrived at my destination. It activates, and the cells stand still in fear watching. It comes out and says now let's eliminate. He shoots, and the area explodes attacking the cells, yet keeps shooting, destroying the body parts. Then, Memory Cell says he remembers that legend says this will be the cell that will wipe out everything after all the trouble. And his name is steroid, a drug that suppresses allergic reactions. The cells begin to react to the drug, but he keeps shooting while the cells struggle to escape. Things get out of control, burning out the body. After a while, the steroid exhausts his fighting power, but he clears the Cedars away. Rena and Memory Cell watch and Blanca looks up seeing the side effect of the steroids caused due to excessive use of steroids. Next, Rena carries oxygen to deliver, but she's not sure which way to go. Then she sees red bone marrow, the blood cell's homeland. It's their enucleation day, and their leader removes the knot on the cap of one bone marrow to show she's graduated to become a red blood cell, which brings back memories for Rena. The bone marrow is where blood cells are born and grow. Flashback reveals years ago when Rena was born as an immature cell. Then, she was made a red cell because she's red-headed. Red blood cells come into this world as immature cells and grow into immature red blood cells found in the bone marrow, and they are being nurtured and trained by macrophages to become matured red blood cells. She taught them about blood circulation and how to deliver oxygen as matured red blood cells. Rena looks cheerful as they begin, but she loses her way even as a young cell. As a result, she felt dizzy and fell. When she stood up, she began to cry. Macrophage consoled her, saying you'll be fine. Next, they were taught how to stay safe in the blood vessels when bacteria attacks. She says one white blood cell will play the role of a bacterium. One of them says Rena will lose her way and got eaten up, but white cell tell him to listen up. Rena asked, what if I get lost? Macrophage said you are still young and can't leave the bone marrow, so you're safe. Yet, Rena felt nervous. A female cell grabbed her hand and said, let's run together. Then, Macrophage said, start. White blood cell asks, should I start now? And she says yes. Then he acts like a scary bacteria, and the young cells ran to escape. Macrophage said, don't get captured by the bacteria. Rena kept running and hid in a quiet place. She realized she's lost her way again. Then she said, I don't think I can ever become a red blood cell. She heard a sound and went to check. She saw the mature red blood cells delivering oxygen and felt impressed seeing how hardworking they are. Lost in thought, a real bacteria came close to her. She thought he was the disguised white blood cell. She said, you're the disguised bacteria, right? He replies, you're wrong. I'm a bacteria that can cause infections. Hearing that, she ran away, and he went after her. Getting to the blood vessel door, she's unable to open it because immature red blood cells cannot leave the bone marrow. He grabbed her again, saying I survived by stealing nutrients and oxygen from cells. Little Rena struggled to free herself. When he made her fall, she cried. He says now let me finish you up. Rena felt sorry for herself. However, she thought, I don't want to die. Threw her cap in his eye, and ran away thinking, I want to be like those cool red blood cells. The bacteria went after her, stretching out his hook, but she dodged it and fall. About to strike her, an immature white cell that also lived in bone marrow defended her. The germ identified him, and he threatened to kill him. As he charged at him, his knife fell. The germ suddenly had many faces, which scared them. He pushed him, and at the same time, grabbed him with his hook, and then began to beat him up. After he threw him away, Rena rushed to his side and said, don't die. Big brother bacteria said just hand over that girl and I will spare you. White cell says, I can't do something like that. Even if I have to sacrifice my life, I will always protect other cells and become a mature white cell soon. Bacteria laughed at him. Suddenly, the immature white cell trainer came from behind and slew him. Macrophage has been worried about Rena, and seeing her made little Rena cried so loud. She moved close and said sorry. We'll take care of the wound. The white cell trainer took the boy away. Rena rushed after them and asked if they're going to see again. He answered, not sure, but when we grow up and start working in the blood vessel, we might see each other. They said bye. Bye to each other. Back to the present. Rena has become so busy that she almost forgot this happened. Then she says, I have to deliver oxygen. As she moves her box, she hits Blanca's leg. She quickly apologizes. We find out Blanca is the boy who saved her. She gives him another drink. When she says she got lost, he offers to show her the way. As they move, she recalls the story, wondering if he's the boy because she forgot his face. She doubts he's the one. After, she thanks him for showing her the way and leaves. Lately, there haven't been any germ attacks, so he's been less busy and wishes it would last. But then, an attack begins. A virus cell attacks a normal cell, and he quickly starts fighting him. After killing him, he wonders what type of germ this is. A T-cell shows up and teases him, saying it's been a while since he fought. He also wonders what kind of germ this one is. Blanca says he's attacking his friend. T-cell says he will get rid of him since that's their job. Right there, another cell appears. When T-cell carries the dead zombie, she hits him. She says I am NK cell that attacks cancer cells or viruses. T-cell angrily asks, what do you want? She says the virus is not ordinary. He is the type that multiplies super fast. She asks the attacked cell to show them where more of them are. He says there are more in my area. T-cell asks why he didn't tell them before, and asks him to take them there. NK cell says no, I will go with him, and you don't have to follow. T-cell follows them, and she punches his nose, claiming her hand slips. T-cell nose bleeds. Platelet gives him a bucket. He fetches water with it, and pours it on NK cell and also claims his hand slips. He asks her to go home. NK cell punches him again, and he also kicks him. They hit each other over and over. Blanca and attacked cell watch them while Blanca suggests they leave them behind, and adds, the cells we are about to kill might be your friends. Will you be fine? he answers. Yes, since it's for this body to be okay. So don't worry, we are just doing our jobs. Blanca is impressed by his words, and then they begin to move. Getting to the cell system, T cell and NK cell also join them, but they couldn't find any sign of virus. Blanca suggests they request for backup. T cell declines, and NK also wants them to fight this alone. She walks away on her own. T cell doesn't want to team up with her and so decides to leave. Blanca tries to stop him, but he says they aren't just compatible. NK proposes they fight to the attacked cell, telling him to show her who he really is. He looks confused, asking, so I got caught too. Rena's shoelace breaks. Her senior says it's a bad omen. She tied it up and walks up to her, passing under a ladder. Just then, she bumps into a cell carrying dishes. Senior says another bad omen. She quickly gathers the dishes, but again her hair sticks up. She wonders why all that is happening. Back to NK cell and others in the cell system, she discovers the attacked cell has been pretending just to lure them out. Instantly, he changes to a cancer cell with abnormal growth. He says, you also try to drive the white and T cells away so I won't harm them, right? Cancer cells grow too fast, and they spread into nearby healthy cells. Then she answers, no, they're just getting in my way. Though NK cell asks why he brings them there, he says, I won't tell you. Then attacks with multiple hands. NK call strikes his hand and his blood splashes all over her. She says, what a weak attack. Can we fight for real? Cancer cell responds by destroying everything around, causing her to fall with the collapsing wall. Then he asks, is that still a weak attack? NK cell thinks of what to do next. Meanwhile, white and T cells are on their way out of the cell system. White cell suggests they turn back, but T cell says forget about them. He notices a paper and checks it. T cell pauses, seeing a strange room where it is written that the cells there grow on their own and can't be stopped. They multiply quickly without control, bursting through their cell membranes and weakens the walls of nearby healthy cells. White cell realizes they aren't ordinary cells, but cancer cells. Just then, they appear, and they begin to fight them with their defense ability. But soon, they see there are many of them, and they look really strong. Blanca worries NK and the young cell are in danger. T cell tells him to worry about himself instead. Unexpectedly, NK lands in the room. T cell mocks her for looking miserable, and they argue again. Blanca asks her where is that young cell. She says you'll be a fool if you're looking for him. Look at him coming. Blanca is shocked to see he's turned a cancer cell ready to attack them. Blanca now realizes he was only acting for them earlier and NK is aware of it. Happy to see the three together, he says, I will let you experience my power. Then the ground begins to shake. They struggle for their lives while he laughs wickedly as he continues destroying it. NK says, you see why I said I should handle this alone. T cell regrets not listening to her and then faints, while Blanca lies there helplessly. Cancer cell now feels he's ruling the world elsewhere in the body. Platelets and red cells greet one another happily. Rena tickles her cheek, saying things feel peaceful now. She recalls the bad omen she had earlier, but assumes it was just her imagination. A red cell carrying nutrients bumps into Rena's senior. As the platelets wave goodbye, Rena suggests they help him, and they quickly run after him. They see so many nutrients, and when they ask the red about it, he says it's strange to us, too. We just got a huge order to deliver to that building. Inside, they see the scary cancer cells, drop their oxygen, and run off. Older red cells say, if the cancer cells consume that many nutrients it will throws the body out of balance. Rena's senior says, let's help out too. Rena looks worried, but she can't say no, so she pushes her oxygen towards there. Blanca pulls himself up, but cancer cell presses down on him. T cell strikes with his weapon, but it doesn't cut him, so he gets pushed back. T cell shouts back at him, die, you monster. A flashback reveals when Cancer Cell was young with his friend. The defense cells pursued them. They run past where they hid as they follow a copy of them. A copy cell is a result of a mistake made when a cell copies its DNA during division. He breathes heavily, scared they might die even though they're still young. He asks what a copy error is. His friend says, let's just run for now. His friend falls while they run, but he hid and hurt as the defense cells get rid of him. Back to present. Cancer Cell grabs T Cell by his cloth. Angry about being treated like a defect and why they have to kill them, he threw him away again, asking what did we do wrong by entering this body. Then, as he launches another attack, he vows to kill 3 of them. They lie helplessly on the ground. On the other hand, Rena and other red cells hurriedly transport oxygen and nutrients. Macrophage leader asks why they are in a hurry. Rena replies, I don't know why, but we are getting large orders from a building over there. Cancer Cell says they'll spread through blood vessels and lymph ducts, multiplying to wipe out all defense cells. Blanca replies, this body cannot be alive by the power of cells like you. That annoys him, and he says I don't care. When Blanca says I will stop you, he replies, okay, let's see. Suddenly, an axe strikes him. He turns around and sees all the body's defense cells standing together. B-cell says, "We are here to finish you up." Macrophage, who threw the axe, says, "I actually aim for your head." The fluids he produces come alive. Meanwhile, Rina worries about Blanca. T-cell commander orders the cancer cell to surrender to the defense cells, but he won't. Defense cells begin to attack them while NK cells and T cells reconcile, saying, "We will take out the cancer cells together." Blanca adds losing is not an option. They charge at them, each using their defense power to take the enemies down. While the red cells watch in fear, Blanca, T-cell, and NK cell fight together in unity. T-cell tries to dodge the enemy, but B-cell accidentally fires antibodies at him, struggling to break free. NK cell bursts into serious laughter. She laughs so hard hits the ground, rolls until tears fill her eyes, then suddenly she powers up to her full energy mode. This amazes other defense cells. She charges at the cancer cell and slay him at the back. Meanwhile, NK cell laughs hard earlier to energize herself. She then asks Blanca to finish him off. About to stab him, Blanca stops, feeling sorry for him. Cancer cell asks, "Do you want to blame me for disguising as attacked cell?" Blanca says, "No, you're a cell too, since you can still talk. Any last words before I finish you off?" Then he says, "When I pretended as a normal cell, I was so happy you rescued me. It was the first time anyone had ever saved me." He raises his hand while saying, "I just want to live like a normal cell too." Blanca says, "But we can't let you live. You are destroying this body." He holds onto Blanca's cloth, saying, "All of you will forget me after today and live like I never existed." He cries blood as he adds, "If not for the cell division that went wrong, I should have been your friend." He regrets ever being born. Blanca says, "Even so, I will still kill you because it's my job." Then he says, "Fine, I will gladly lose to you, at least for today." Rina comes for Blanca. Afterwards, Blanca is purified. She is shocked when she sees the cancer cell. Blanca says, "Don't be scared, I finished him off already." Rina prays he never appears again, while Blanca thanks her for summoning other defense cells for them. Then he thinks, if cancer cells ever show up again, we, the defense cells, will stick together to get rid of them again. In the vein, Rina is on her way to transport oxygen, but she's not sure which way to go. A senior red cell directs new red cells to go to the lower body vein for training. At this point, Rina is determined to become better. Even though everyone sees her as a dummy, she says to herself, "I can't keep depending on others. Henceforth I'll take carbon dioxide to the lungs, get oxygen, and deliver it through the body without getting lost." Rina is in front of the lower body vein. She pushes her box of oxygen toward the heart. On the way, a germ threatens to kill her. She thinks, "Why is this happening again? After I promised to do my best. Now, I'm gonna die." Blanca comes all of a sudden and slays him. Meanwhile, Rina has already given up. She thanks Blanca for saving her again. He asks, "Why are you here?" She replies, "I lost my way." Seeing Blanca is injured makes her feel guilty. Blanca says, "Follow me." But turning back, he sees Rina fired up, determined to handle things herself. He decides to stop meddling and walks away. As she pushes her oxygen, Blanca hears a sound, turns back, and sees her fall. She apologizes for causing trouble. Blanca says never mind. Rina continues moving. She sees glucose, the red cell energy source. Since they have no powerhouse like white cells, they enjoy the glucose. Blanca calls his leader to inform him he will be patrolling the whole body. Meanwhile, he hides, watching as Rina transports oxygen in. She enters the venous valve, which only lets blood flow in one direction. He's shocked to see her return, but stays hidden. In the lower body vein, which is the largest vein, collects blood from the lower body and delivers it to the heart. As Rina moves in the lower body vein, she moves fast since she knows her direction. Later, a senior sees her alone, asking if she wants her to go with her. Rina fired up again, and she's not even hearing her. It is announced that the heart is congested. In the heart, the red cells are asked to follow instructions and circulate quickly and leave their cart behind as the place is congested. They explain what lung and body circulation are, which are known as heart circulation. They will be traveling from right atrium to the left ventricle, pass through the lung artery, drop off carbon dioxide, and pick up fresh oxygen. In the capillaries, they will hand over the oxygen, take in carbon dioxide, and return to the right atrium. That completes the body's circulation. The red cells listen carefully but still look confused. Rina has always found the heart confusing. Blanca is there watching her as she prepares to discard carbon dioxide to the heart. She moves in with other red blood cells, and they finally make it to the heart. It is made of muscle and pumps blood in the body for about 100,000 times in a day. The red cells gather in the heart, waiting in line to deliver. It's so crowded they start pushing one another. As they rush, Rina drops her note and struggles to grab it. Blanca sees it, picks it up, and throws it back to her. She's amazed. The red cells walk through the right heart gate, a 3-flap tissue between the heart's right atrium and right ventricle. They arrive in the right ventricle, where carbon dioxide-rich blood is found. They are instructed not to stop. Rena's cap falls off again, and Blanca helps her. She arrives at the lung vessel that carries low oxygen blood to the lungs. Blanca keeps watching her. They reach the part of the lungs where they release carbon dioxide and take in oxygen. They arrive at the tiny air sacs where they will release carbon dioxide. Rena has some relaxing tea. The lung releases oxygen gas. Rena picks up one, then remembers. It's the same place a germ once attacked her before Blanca had come to her rescue. They head to the vein carrying oxygen, rich blood to the heart. A germ almost attacks her, but Blanca steps in just in time and slay the germ. Then they move aorta that carries oxygen, rich blood from the heart to the capillaries in the body. Blanca keeps running around to monitor Rena. They move to the capillaries that distribute oxygen and nutrients to cells and retrieve waste like carbon dioxide. Blanca is seen with the platelets, while Rena transports oxygen. As she moves, Blanca hides behind her without her knowing. Suddenly, some germs enter the body. When they see Rena, they plan to attack her, but Blanca, using his super ability, flies toward them and says, "Be quiet." He kills them and quietly clears them, not wanting Rena to notice. When another white cell shows up, he leaves the germs with him and runs off. Meanwhile, Rena feels she's able to get through the way by herself. She squeezes through the tight pathway to deliver her oxygen, and the cell appreciates her effort. When she is out, she feels so proud of herself that she circulates without getting lost. Seeing her happy makes Blanca smiles. As he turns back to go, he meets T-Cell. Rena tells the other cells how she managed to circulate on her own. T-Cell says, so she can now get her job done herself now. Blanca says she's a determined girl because despite all she went through, she never gave up. Her senior says she's proud of her. Blanca adds, now that I think of it, being a red cell is a tough job. Rena tears up as her senior gently tickles her cheek. Blanca says, I hope one day, we defense cells and other cells can truly get along. He asks T-Cell if he feels the same, but T-Cell responds with a punch to his cheek so hard that he bleeds. Then he says, why would you ever think of getting along with other cells if needed? We'll even kill our allies without mercy. Befriending them can never be possible. Blanca says, but it's not like he had anything in mind. He yells at him saying, we are assassins, just get that straight. Then he walks away. Blanca stays still wondering if that's true. Rena comes to him and tells him she finishes her task. When he turns to her, she's shocked by the look on his face. He tells her it's nothing. Can you tell me about how you managed to complete your task? Rena happily agrees. As they sit, she narrates everything about her delivery to the heart. T-Cell sees how B-Cell laughs with other cells. He feels jealous. All cells are always alert, especially T-Cells who are ready to attack anytime, so they don't have time to relax or make friends. The naive T-Cell train hard like soldiers, and their leader never tolerates laziness, as they are assassin cells who destroy virus, infected and cancer cells. Their leader says next training, now. The tired cells breathe hard, but have no choice but to obey. Almost collapsing, the leader ignores that and shouts, continue. They try to fight him as part of the training, but he easily knocks them all down. He becomes frustrated, saying none of you is fit to be a T-Cell. Meanwhile, other cells have been watching them and T-Cell commander feels he's too hard on them, but he ignores them, while regulatory T-Cell keeps working. Her job is to calm T-Cells and keep the immune system from overreacting. Suddenly, one T-Cell breaks in through the glass and pushes T-Commander. He rolls like a ball. The leader apologizes, saying I think I push him too hard. Annoyed, T-Commander says I wanted to say this before. Can't you be cool with them? He replies, I'm just doing my job to make them strong enough to fight. Our enemies, he says, that's up to me. You are just as harsh as ever. He replies, what are you talking about? I'm doing this to help them. Other T-Cells wonder why they are arguing like that. Then Dendritic Cell says I will tell you about them. Checking his manual, he shows a photo of when they were young classmates. Commander had glasses even back then, and the two never got along. Just like now, a flashback reveals when they were both in Thymus School where immature T-Cells are being trained. They trained hard to become strong enough to kill any virus or germ. Thymus promised to train them even harder. His job is to nurture T-Cells and separate them into categories. He announced a test, saying we will be using human-shaped panels. You must attack the ones you think are germs, and if you attack a normal cell, you will be disqualified on the spot. They begin to run toward their target. While at it, Dendritic Cell took pictures of them. T-Cell leader saw a panel from afar and prepared to attack it. Unexpectedly, T-Commander went ahead and took down the germ panel before him. He said, but I went after that panel first. T-Cell Commander replied, sorry about that, you should do better next time. Annoyed, he attacks Commander, but he calmly blocks him, saying, don't make me waste unnecessary energy. Thymus is impressed by the Commander's talent. Afterwards, the two ended up being roommates, which angered T-Leader. T-Commander says he can take the top bunk, but warns, don't wake me climbing up, or better still, just sleep on the floor. He replied, that's bad, and was about to punch him when a girl passing asked why they are causing a problem. They lied, we aren't doing that. She said okay, I will be on my way. Next morning, the hard training continued, and T-Leader struggles to get through. As he climbed the rope, he fell back. They wrestled, taken several punches from his mates, and nobody pitied him. Instead, Thymus yelled, stop pretending and get up. His mates made jest of him, saying he's weak and might not end up as a T-Cell. Then, Thymus asked everyone to head back to their dorm. Returning, he saw T-Commander sipping tea and said, here you are enjoying while I suffer. He says, do you want a punch on your head? He quickly said no. At night, T-Commander went out to train. He saw T-Leader training too. Even though he doesn't understand what he was doing, he kept punching like his life depended on it. T-Commander felt he was reacting that way, cause of what happened earlier that day. He spells out every punching skill he has practiced. He wonders what he meant, but then, says this has nothing to do with me and walked away. To have his training, while both of them trained, the girl and Dendritic Cell watch, taking their pictures. They both found them interesting and hope they end up surviving as T-Cells. Next morning, training began again. Then, Thymus says, today there's gonna be a special surprise test that will show those who can qualify to be T-Cells. It's called positive selection, and all they needed to do is attack germ panels until the time is up. T-Leader looked nervous. Thymus says no worries, just act as usual. One attacked a cell and thought he had passed, but it turned out the cell was normal, and just like that he was eliminated into a pit. Another attacked a normal cell, thinking it was a virus, and was eliminated. One was able to attack a germ cell. Thymus said she passed. It was T-Commander's turn. He patiently studied the cell, and once he confirmed it was a germ, he hit it immediately. When it was T-Leader's turn, he grew nervous. T-Commander warned him not to close his eyes during the attack. He was called out, and when he saw a panel, he closed his eyes to attack, then remembered T-Commander's words and opened them. As he opened his eyes, he saw the panel was just a common cell holding a pincushion. So he walked away. T-Commander felt relieved. Thymus said stay alert. A panel appeared behind him, but he didn't know which way is it. His mates try to tell him where it is but only confuse him more. Then T-Commander shouted, use one of your skills from that night you trained. He did, and Thymus announced he passed. Everyone cheered up. The two are seen together, and T-Commander asks why he looks sad. He says my win was just luck. I'm not sure I can keep going as a T-Cell. Then he added, you are lucky. They already tell you you can be a helper or regulatory cell. He replied, if you feel that way then drop out since you are scared. Do you think things will be easy here? He became angry, folding his fist and ready to attack him. Before he could, T-Commander landed a heavy blow on his cheek, and he fell to the ground. He said you have to be bold and face reality. He stretched his hand to help him up. Surprised, he grabbed his hand and stood up. He says now I'm going to train until I can get rid of any enemy. Hearing that, T-Commander felt happy and said I think there are weaklings like you. I need to encourage to get stronger. While the girl admired them. Meanwhile, Dendritic Cell was snapping pictures of them. Back in the present, the naive T-Cells watch them argue, just like in the story. T-Commander says, if you think I'm enjoying this, then let's trade places. They then notice the naive cells had been looking at a book. They move closer and see that Dendritic Cell has been showing their childhood photos, so they tell him to burn them. The naive cells laugh at them while regulatory cell feels they are just like the way they were back then. So we get to know every cell has different ways it behaves, but all work hard as a team to keep the well-being of the body, and also risk themselves to protect the body. Rena struggles through the narrow pathway as she's about to deliver oxygen. The cell thanks her for her hard work and stamps the receipt. She walks back through the narrow path, forcing her box out of it. She falls. One platelet sees her and says sorry for the inconvenience. She waves at her as she comes close and tickles her cheek. In the lung sac, Rena delivers carbon dioxide. It exhales it out of the body and then releases oxygen. Rena picks them up, and her senior sees she's working hard. Rena's happy to see her. Then she says I see you have grown up and now feel satisfied with your job. She asks her to keep it up, but she's worried if she'll be fine on her own. She answers yes, I will be fine, and laughs. Suddenly, Rena begins to run calling for help. A bacteria has been pursuing her and other red cells. It keeps pursuing them, saying hand over your oxygen when others see them. They say, let's help our friends. One says we can do nothing as red blood cells. Rena stumbles, yet she's able to dodge the germ's attack, which surprises her. Now she gets to a dead end, and when she looks behind, the germ laughs at her saying, hand over that oxygen like a good girl, but she refuses. He charges at her, but a yellow cell blocks him with a punch. Rena wonders who this new cell is, and even the germ looks confused. He rushes toward him and strangles his neck, then delivers several blows, kicking and with his weapon. He finishes him up. Rena thanks him, and he responds with a thumb up for her. Rena waves as he leaves. Suddenly, Blanca appears from an opening to attack the germ. Then he sees he's dead. He asks someone get rid of him already. She answers, yes. She tells him about the yellow cell and asks his name. He says monocyte. It's also a body defense cell that fight germs. Blanca says there aren't many in the body, but they're good fighters. He's practicing a golf swing. Then he passes through the wall without an opening. This surprises Rena while Blanca leaves, saying, see ya. After in the nostrils where air is regulated, platelets are having fun, while other cells are having a hot bath. Rena sees the yellow cell. He's dozing. Then he goes ahead to get a drink. Rena smiles. Platelets also eat when she sees them. They say hello, big sister. She asks what they're eating before they respond. She's served as well. She eats the glucose, an energy source for red cells. She continues her journey, saying that glucose was yummy. Suddenly the ground breaks and she rolls away with her oxygen. Just then, she sees countless germs and their leader introduces them as nose and skin bacteria. If they get into a wound, they can cause infections. Red cells escape for their lives. The leader says now I will take over this nostril. She orders her allies to attack red cells for nutrients. Rena is attacked first. Blanca and others appear to fight the germs and orders all red cells to leave. Rena feels calm, while the white cells fight the germs. Blanca kills the bacteria, and others are killed too. Platelets join the scene. However, Blanca remembers the bacteria once appeared before, but they killed them. He says we will wipe you out again, but bacteria laugh at him, saying are you sure? Her allies follow her, and they fly with their color and later stick together like a bunch of grapes. And that's why they are described as grape-like bacteria. They fuse and release some substances, which shocks Blanca, and they are more shocked seeing the bacteria leader has expanded. She says you see, I'm not like before, and in no time begins her attack swaying away lots of white cells. She proudly says I told you I'm different now. Blanca replies I will devour you. She deflects the white cells' attack with a net, and they fall back. Blanca says this net looks familiar and she reveals it's the platelets net they use for blood clotting. Rena also remembers the platelets, once used it to cover a wound. White cell wonders why she has it. She throws it at them and captures some of the white cells with her thunder power. She then says should I tell you what happened? Blanca says I know you wrap yourself up in the net to block our attack. She attacks them with her thunder, saying he's right. Now I'm stronger and it's impossible to kill me. Generally, bacteria produce a used net to protect themselves from defense cells. She attacks them at once. Rena wonders what happened to the white cells, only to see their hands and feet have been tied up afraid. She says, please get up. One platelet asks her to be careful not to fall. Bacteria leader says, now I can get my revenge on them. For our younger cousin who was killed for entering this body. She says I will tear their limb. Suddenly, the ground breaks and the yellow cells appear with their weapons. She wonders who they are. They march towards the battle scene. When their leader talks, it sounds familiar to Rena. Turns out the yellow cells were macrophages in disguise. Both are made in the bone marrow, but once outside the blood vessels, they transform into macrophages. She warns them not to get in her way, rushing towards them. One macrophage hits her with her weapon several times. She is amazed by her strength. Then she realizes she's a macrophage, one of the body's defense cells. Some of her allies run off. Knowing they never stand a chance against them, Macrophages mocks her, saying now you're the only one left, which angers her, and she charges at them. They hit them each using their weapon and attack power. This amazes Rena and Platelets. Macrophage leader says now we are done cleaning. Meanwhile, Blanca and his friends are still lying there helplessly. When they stand up, they thank the macrophages. They say sorry we arrived late. When one of them gives thumbs up, she says that's our signal when we act as yellow cells. Rena asks if they are the same. She asks her to be quiet, saying that's our little secret. We act calm, sometimes violently, as nurturers and an assassin. So macrophages play a lot of roles in the body. Just like other cells, they each have different roles, but all work together to keep the body in order and renew its energy every day. Meanwhile, the sweat cells find out that all reservoirs are empty, and the one that isn't empty has barely any fluid left. Their captain grows anxious as it tries to think of a way to fix the problem. In the sweat gland, red cells move through the capillaries. Rena complains about the heat and her senior explains, "We are releasing the heat already. That is, the red cells are trying to let out the heat through the skin to feel cool inside." Just then, Blanca pushes through them as a germ appears. He gets rid of it and reports to his superior. The red cells are amazed while Rena comes close to him, saying, "Well done, Blanca," as he dissolves the germ. When he stands, Rena's dressing makes him nervous. Then she says, "Your outfit looks hot." He replies, "I can't do my job if I'm not dressed like this." Next, the sweat gland in the skin gets ready to remove heat by evaporation through sweating to regulate body temperature. Platelets also feel hot. As the platelets struggle to get a glass of tea, a red cell says something is strange as the sweat is yet to turn into vapor to evaporate. Blanca helps the platelets with tea. Even though sweat is released, the body doesn't cool as it should. Sweat cell says it's because the outside temperature is too high. So instead of cooling, the heat just gets worse, making the red cells complain. While platelets enjoy their tea, red cells move around trying to regulate the heat. As they sweat heavily, Rena asks why they're still hot. Blanca says the heat's too high, and sweating isn't cooling them. It's rather getting worse. Suddenly, the light dims. Blanca realizes their host is dizzy. Then everything goes dark, leaving them confused. Dizziness happens when the blood drains from the head after the red cells fainted, cause there isn't enough blood and oxygen to reach your brain. Again, the body overheats so much, which is caused by loss of too much water and salt. The blood vessels of the skin expand, and when blood pressure drops, the flow of blood to the brain decreases, making the muscles tighten up and hurt. Blanca detects a germ from opening. The germ is a soil bacteria from food poisoning, such as dirty water. Blanca faces the bacteria, who ask him if he's a white cell. He replies, "Yes." Then he says, "Let's fight," as Blanca prepares to attack. The bacteria runs off, saying, "I'm just kidding. You think I'd fight you? This body will soon die, so until then, I'll hide." Blanca chases after him, and Rena wishes him good luck. The bacteria plans to hide in the fast-moving blood flow, which he sees an easy escape route. Suddenly, Blanca attacks from behind, but the bacteria dodges. He falls back and requests backup. The germ moves in between the red cells. The backup comes and joins Blanca to attack him together. The bacteria passes close to Blanca's leg and escapes, hiding behind other cells. While Blanca searches for him, he appears behind Blanca. As he attacks, he narrowly escapes. Blanca chases after him through the red cells. He begins to feel so hot as the temperature rises. It becomes unbearable for the red cells too. But Blanca still won't give up, even though he's tired. The bacteria laughs at him. At the same time, a red cell accidentally hits him with a box in the dark. He falls. As he struggles, the bacteria uses his tail to strike Blanca's legs, making him fall again. He finds it strange that a white cell can feel heat. He says, "Better go take care of yourself." He adds, "Lucky you, your cap is still on, as it is a way to protect your head from direct sunlight." He grabs the red cell's tea, saying, "Also stay hydrated." He pours it on the ground. Meanwhile, the body has lost almost all its fluids and reached a critical point. Platelet tells Rena she's hot. She replies, "Don't worry, white cell will fix this." Sweat cell tells his team to gather all the salt in the body to control sweat release. They reply there is very little salt left. Captain feels confused. Then, the sweat gland captain enters a room and comes out wearing a strange outfit. He prays for it to rain. His team say it seems the captain has gone crazy. Back to Blanca and the bacteria. He beats Blanca badly until he can hardly breathe. Suddenly, a fire breaks out, showing the body is running a fever. The bacteria hangs Blanca, who is completely tired, and says, "See, I told you, this body will die soon and I'm not even bothered." Meanwhile, he can withstand 100-degree heat for 30 minutes, but can't spread if there's dehydration. He lets go of Blanca, who falls behind a wall, but grabs on with his knife. The germ keeps hitting him, but he says, "I won't let you harm this body." The bacteria asks him to just give up because the body can't defeat the outside temperature. Blanca replies, "Say whatever you want no matter what happens. As long as this body is alive, I will keep protecting it." The germ says he's a fool and beats him harder until he falls off the wall. Then he feels he wins at last, and laughs at his victory, saying, "Now I'll hide in the darkness, then take over this body." He feels so happy, claiming no one is left to fight him. Suddenly, light shines, and they wonder what caused it. The sweat cell explains that the temperature has dropped. As clouds form, a tube-like object appears. It's an injection the host took to restore fluids and nutrients. With that, the germ feels restless, and a heavy flow of liquid bursts out. The cells bathe in the liquid, feeling excited and refreshed. The germ now feels bad that the body is recovering. Just then, Blanca appears behind him, holding his tail, hearing him speak. He knows he's in trouble already as he nervously turns back. Next, blood bursts several times like flashing disco lights, while the other cells feel grateful for whatever brings the rain. Because not even the sweat cells know how it rains. The cells celebrate the new dawn, and Rena moves Blanca to the neck and underarms, where it's super cool. Blanca feels so cool and relieved. His friend asks him, "Why do you feel so hot as white cell?" But he ignores his questions. However, life continues in the body after the cells have been refreshed. Red cells continue to transport oxygen. As the lungs release them, Rena's energy remains strong, and her senior feels happy about it. As she moves the oxygen, Senior says, "I see you are doing well." She tickles her cheeks. After, she says, "I want you to help me train this new red cell." When the new cell says, "Nice to meet you," Rena almost goes crazy. Seeing her senior doesn't care, she grabs her hand saying, "I can't train her." She replies, "But that's part of your job and other cells trained you too." Rena looks worried, but her senior winks at her, saying, "Make sure you get along with her." When she leaves, Rena greets the new cell. New cell calls her senior. Rena thinks, "Wow, she's calm." Then, she says, "I'm your junior. You don't need to be formal." Rena thinks she's right. And now, as her senior, she knows she must be strong. She says, "I'll show you a few things." She tries to bring out her notes, but seems confused. Then she says, "I will start by explaining what we do." The new cell begins to recite the functions of red cells, from retaining moisture to exchanging gases and transporting nutrients. And also that they burn up glucose to produce energy, carbon dioxide and water, and send out carbon dioxide from the body, cause it's harmful, so they exchange it for oxygen. Rena goes blank hearing all that, but wakes up when she calls Senior. She smiles and says, "There's nothing left to learn, let's get to work." They both transport oxygen to the cell, and she tells her she will learn on her job. She thinks, "What do I have to tell her?" As her senior, they drop by the lymphatic vessels. Then a T cell shouts, "Red cells are not allowed here." She feels really bad as they leave and apologizes to her junior. But she says, "No, you are not at fault. That cell is just being aggressive than needed." Saying that makes Rena feel good. Just then, they see Blanca fighting a germ. Rena tells her, he's a body defense cell and he's nice. Watching him, Junior says white cells are violent cells. Rena replies, "That's not true." Blanca tears and eats up the germ, breathing heavily as his energy restores. Rena commends his hard work and he greets her too, then asks, "Is that your junior?" She says yes. As Blanca greets her, bacteria attack again, and he fights back. Rena asks him to tell her junior more about white cells. Then he says white cells have different types of white cells like basophils and macrophages have different jobs. They do. Rena adds that Blanca, though a bit scary, is actually nice. As he stabs the germ, blood sprays, staining the junior uniform. She cleans her up and later brings her warm drinks. In response, she says, "You should bring me a towel, not drinks." Rena feels disappointed, thinking she's right. As they prepare to deliver oxygen, she begins teaching her what to say to the cell. She replies, "No need. Let's just do our job," but Rena won't stop. The cell gets angry and says, "Will you deliver already?" After she introduces eosinophil to her, narrating how she once killed a big parasite. Eosinophil feels embarrassed, saying, "Don't praise me too much." While explaining platelets and their role, she's lost in talk until Junior warns, "Be careful." As she looks front, she's shocked as platelets nearly trap her with their net. Moving on, they meet dendritic cell and macrophage. Junior says, "Let's keep going." Afterwards, they take a break. They watch mast cell insist that releasing too much histamine is fine. When B cell asks memory cell about it, he struggles to recall and angrily hits his head on the wall. Next, Rena loses her way again, standing on a floor grate and nearly falling. Then she plays with platelets while her junior keeps calling her to order. She feels bad about it and cries, while Blanca secretly checks if she's doing well with her junior. She pulls herself together and apologizes to her junior for being unreliable senior. Junior replies, "Don't worry," and she promises to do better. She studies the map for their next delivery to avoid getting lost, while Blanca continues to watch them. Soon, she says, "Let's go." We see new cells being born and go to work like other cells inside the body. Days pass after days. The cell's activities continue in the body, without interruption, until one day when a fire breaks out, causing a huge explosion. The cells wonder what's happening as they watch the whole place collapse. Later, we see Rena lying unconscious but soon opens her eyes. As she sits up, she sees everywhere is wrecked with dead cells scattered around her. She looks scared, and when she turns around, she sees her junior, also shocked at how things have changed. Just then, Blanca shows up with a platelet. They asks him what happened. He replies he's not sure, but red cells are asked to gather in the center of the body. Suddenly, many red cells rush toward them, and before they know it, the crowd causes congestion, raising the blood pressure. While this happens, white cells are also ordered to gather, making the place so crowded that red cells start pushing each other. Some platelets are also present, while brain cells work to analyze the issue, but they can't figure out what went wrong, and worry germs might attack soon. Then their captain says, "We'll declare an emergency." The cells are alerted that there's a life-threatening damage in the tissue and blood vessels near the head, and all defense cells need to prepare to attack germs from the damaged areas. The alert keeps ringing that they should hurry to the damaged area. Blanca, as usual, obeys the order, ready to get to work with the team. Platelets also get ready to fix the damaged area, while red cells have to keep transporting oxygen. Junior feels confused, but Rena tells her for now, let's transport oxygen. While at it, there is high pressure in the blood flow, causing the heartbeat to go faster, and this continues until the sweat cell captain orders the release of cold sweat. Surprisingly, it's just Rena and her junior left running. Junior stops claiming she's cold. Rena ignores her words and says hurry. Afterwards, germs break out from the damaged area, but Blanca comes just in time to get rid of them. Blanca shows up and kills them. He heads towards the damaged area thinking the red cells might be under attack there. Getting closer, he feels it's quieter than normal, and when he finally arrived, he's shocked to see that no blood cell is present, except a red cap that flies away. Then it is announced again that the defense cells should hurry to the damaged area. And when Rena woke up afterwards, seeing only herself in the midst of the chaos. Also, the defense cells get ready to fight to fix the damage. The damage that we call a wound is so severe, and as Blanca runs towards there, he finds it strange not seeing any red cells. He screams, "Anyone here?" but no response. Now, getting to the blood vessel, he screams again, calling out the red cells, yet no answer. Just then, he hears a cell cry. He moves close to him and asks what happened. Then he explains zillions of red cells were lost through the wound. Still, the bleeding hasn't stopped, which means there aren't enough red cells to transport oxygen in the body. And no matter what any cell does, they can't just fix this condition, which might lead to all cells dying and the end of this body. Meanwhile, elsewhere in the body, Rena and her junior are on their way to deliver oxygen to some lung cells. Getting there, they see a cell struggling to breathe, asking for oxygen and begins to act strangely. Then, Junior tells her see, more cells are acting strangely. Rena tries to ask the cell what happened, but he keeps asking for oxygen. Rena tells him they will leave the oxygen with him and bring some new ones soon. Then she runs off. Junior follows her, asking where other red cells are. Rena stops, suddenly realizing they haven't seen any red cells all this time. They reach the lungs, which pump so violently that red cells nearly lose their caps, making it impossible to deliver oxygen. Junior says the lungs can't circulate oxygen to all parts of the body anymore. Though oxygen is available, there are not enough red cells to transport it. So Rena carries a box of oxygen, saying we still have to do our job regardless. Junior also carries one and follows her. Rena's determined to save this body. She and Junior keep transporting oxygen to cells non-stop, until there are a few boxes of oxygen left. In the wound blood vessel, there's a strong blood flow as platelets coordinate red cells. Rena and Junior are shocked to see some red cells cling to the blood vessel, trying to transport oxygen even with their lives are in danger. Rena and Junior strap on their boxes to join them, worrying the brain cells as the red cells grow fewer. The other cells can't survive without oxygen, so the brain cell captain orders his team to raise blood pressure to make more red cells. As they raise the blood pressure, some red cells fall into the wound, leading to heavy loss of blood cells. Now, the brain cell realizes that raising the blood pressure did more harm than good, while Rena encourages her Junior to hang in there. The heavy blood loss results in low body temperature, making Rena and Junior feel cold. As they transport oxygen, snow begins to fall, yet they keep going. Rena is transporting 3 oxygen boxes at a time. Tired, Junior says, we can't keep going in this snow. Rena replies we can't stop. If we do, all the cells will die. Junior's hands become stiff, and she drops the box of oxygen. Rena steps closer, stretches out her hand to her, but she pushes it away, then yells, just stop, no matter how hard we try. We can't fix this body, when she says you're just trying to show off in front of me. Then she adds, this body will soon die from the severe blood loss due to the wound. because usually the body will go into shock if it loses a third of its blood supply. She continues. This body can't be saved. Rena presses her cheeks to stop talking, and then she says, I will deliver oxygen to the end. Junior becomes speechless and watches Rena keep moving her oxygen boxes. But she won't, even though her hands are stiff too. She's determined to work till her last breath. However, elsewhere in the body, defense cells fight germs. Everyone is giving their all. Just then, Rena fainted because she's become really weak. After some minutes, she wakes up again, and she's shocked to see many other red cells standing. They are new red cells produced, so they don't recognize her. Rena can't believe she's the only red cell survivor. Then one red cell says, we were just dragged here. They gather themselves to prepare to get to work, and their leader encourages them to start delivering oxygen. Rena feels happy as the new red cells deliver oxygen to all cells. Also, platelets were able to cover up the wound. While some cells are about to give up, Rena manages to show up just in time to deliver oxygen to them. They say, you saved our lives, and the cells return to their normal lives. Rena sees Blanca again while they talk about the past incident. Sipping tea, she asks him, where do the new red cells come from? He says, I don't know either, but they saved us. Meanwhile, the new red cells enter the body through blood donation to the host. This treatment helps to restore lost red cells and platelets. Rena tells Blanca she's going to look for her junior. Just then she appears, saying, I have something to say. Then, she bows and says, thank you for your training. I used to think I knew a lot. Rena listens as she says, it's beyond knowing. It's about passion. Rena feels touched and cries, saying, I think I won't be able to teach you anything. Junior asks her to stop crying. Then she says, let's keep up the good work. The new cells couldn't recognize Rena, and that makes her nervous. As life continues in the body, Rena is also back to delivering oxygen. Junior and other cells are fully back to work too. Rena lost her way again. Right there, Blanca comes and asks if she lost her way. She denies not knowing. He sees that her map is turned the wrong way. Blanca's team pursues a bacteria. Seeing that, he says, I'm leaving. Rena says, good luck to you. Then she delivers her oxygen, and life goes on in the body. That's all for today. If you liked this anime, make sure to comment why and help us reach 1,000 likes. That way, we'll know you really want the next part.